Hello everyone. Okay, first of all, the reason for making this video is first of all to thank my followers, some of whom have really stepped up, and I wouldn't have got through this very, very difficult journey, very arduous journey, without some of you really supporting me, really being there for me. So thank you to each and every one of you. That is a sincere message of gratitude to you all. The second reason is to explain to some of you kind of what's gone on, for those of you who don't understand, or those of you who haven't followed me very long. So, my issues with South Wales Police started around September 2020. 2:30 a.m. in the morning, I had 3 police officers from my stake near Bridgend Police Station come to my home in the early hours of the morning. The officers were very aggressive, very confrontational, quite brutal really, right from the very start, which made me feel very frightened. I was very reasonable to them. I was speaking to them through my window, which was next to my front door, and I said to them, come back in the morning, I'll speak to you then. I'm tired, I want to return to my nice warm bed, leave me alone. You're upsetting me, leave me alone. So they wouldn't have that, unfortunately. Quick as a flash, before I had a chance to say much more than that, they said that they were arresting me. Before I even had the opportunity to say what for, they said they basically barged in to my home, forced entry to my home, and pinned me against a wall and attacked me. But not only attacked me, they indecently exposed me because my pyjama bottoms fell down twice, exposing front and bottom to all 3 officers. They did nothing whatsoever to preserve my dignity. They just mocked and jeered and laughed at my misfortune, at my trauma, at my distress, at my upset. What kind of barbaric souls do that? Anyway, leading on from there, I then issued a series of complaints and then took civil action against South Wales Police, which resulted in a £40,000 settlement and a worthless, meaningless apology from the tyrants. After that, South Wales Police have completely and absolutely refused to engage with me. They refused to protect me. They refused to serve me. They refused to afford me any kind of equal service. On the contrary, unfortunately, they've actively and knowingly intimidated me. They've actively and knowingly caused me more harm. They've actively and knowingly stalked and harassed me. So, for example, you got drive-bys in my cul-de-sac, which is no through road, all times of day and night. You've got emergency services turning up without notice for no reason. You've got so-called welfare checks. Now, some of you may argue that they are safeguarding me by doing that, but they're not, because they don't realise the level of the trauma that they caused is irrevocable. I'll never ever recover from the harm that they caused. I'll never recover from that trauma. As a sexual abuse survivor, being subjected to that level of lack of dignity and that level of trauma was beyond horrific. I felt as though I'd been sexually assaulted all over again. It was so traumatizing, so re-triggering. So I've asked South Wales Police to stay away, but unfortunately they haven't and they won't. So, like, as I said, them doing welfare checks just triggers me more. Them driving in and out my cul-de-sac when there's no need just traumatizes me more, and they know this, and they're doing it deliberately to intimidate me. To further intimidate me, and to prove that their apology was worthless, on the 21st of January 2024, 4 officers from the same station as the first 3 did the same again. Now, it's worth pointing out at this stage that I had continually, since the settlement of my civil claim, and even before that, emailed and contacted South Wales Police to try and get some sort of accountability for the officers. I wanted those officers disciplined or sacked at the very minimum. South Wales Police were again refusing to engage and have completely and absolutely stonewalled me and darvered me and gaslit me at every single opportunity. So I said to, I basically was saying to them, look, you know, tell me what's going on, tell me what's happening. And they just won't tell me. So I believe that the arrest in January 2024 was to intimidate me, shut me down, and to try and prevent me from making any further complaints against them. Additionally, I don't think it's any coincidence that the 4 officers who arrested me, 3 of which were male, in January 2024, were from the same small community station as the first 3. So I think that the arrest was the cause of the arrest was a cosy little chat in my state police station, which went along the lines of, oh, that woman is a pain in the ass, she's continually complaining about us and we're afraid for our jobs. To which one of the 4 police officers said, oh, don't you worry about her, love, we'll stop her, we'll shut her down, we'll shut her up. I don't think that it's beyond the realms of possibility that that's exactly what happened. So the arrest on the 21st of January was unlawful, and I'll just quickly try and explain the reasons why it was unlawful. First of all, the officers quoted Section 17 of PACE. Now, I was arrested for a summary only offence, Section 2 of the Protection from Harassment Act. There's no grounds for entry to property under Section 2 of the Protection from Harassment Act, which is a summary only offence. No grounds at all, other than an immediate risk to the occupants of the property. There's no grounds for entry, none at all. There's no exceptions to that. So the officers again forced entry, breaching their own legislation, essentially breaking the law, and breaching PACE. They breached the Police and Criminal Evidence Act 1984. So the other reason why the arrest was unlawful is the police have to consider the options prior to arrest. And I have email confirmation that I'd arranged a voluntary attendee interview. I was going to an interview. I'd agreed to an interview. I'd said, yes, I will go to an interview. So there was no reason to arrest me. Ultimately, the reason for arrest wasn't about investigating anything. I had not committed any crime. It was about intimidation. It was absolutely about intimidation. It was about silencing me and oppressing me. So basically, moving on from there, on the 15th of October 2024, the reason for the arrest was NFA'd, no further action, and they levied the charge of assault of emergency work on me. Now, there were 4 officers, like I said, 3 of whom were male, all of whom were bigger and much, much stronger, younger and fitter than I am. And they suggested me, a 5 foot tall, disabled woman, vulnerable, frightened out my mind disabled woman, assaulted them. Are they actually, it beggars belief really, it really does. I have never, ever been violent to anyone in my entire life. I'm 52 even this year. I've never so much as hit anybody, not even once. So I've no history of any criminality, no history of violence, no history of drug or alcohol abuse, nothing. But yet they sent 4 officers to arrest a vulnerable, frightened, traumatized woman. Like I said, the reason for the arrest, I think, is pretty evident. So basically then, the plea hearing was meant to be on the 25th of March 2025. That was adjourned because still South Wales Police and all the prosecution hadn't given any kind of disclosure. So I emailed the court to say, look, we're not ready. You know, we can't expect a hearing to go ahead before disclosure is given. And the other reason was because I was unwell. So the hearing on the 25th of March was adjourned at the beginning of April. I was genuinely unwell. at the beginning of April, unable to attend, so I provided a doctor's certificate to say that I was unwell and unable to attend. That wasn't good enough for the tyrants at Cardiff Magistrates Court, who issued a warrant for my arrest. In desperation and frightened out of my mind, I then phoned NHS 111 to ask them for advice. They suggested I attended the local NHS hospital A&E department because I was unable to keep myself safe and I needed mental health support and input, and I needed to be assessed. So I turned up at the A&E department at my local A&E, at my local hospital. I gave the receptionist my name and told her that I was suicidal and unable to keep myself safe, and I needed to see a mental health professional urgently. Within 5 minutes of me turning up at the hospital and booking into the reception desk, PC Lauren Evans of my state police station, one of the officers who arrested me the first time, turned up. Now, she remains under investigation for the indecent exposure element of my first arrest in September 2020. The Sarah Thomas from Sale Office of the IOPC ordered South Wales Police in February of this year to carry out, to reinvestigate the indecent exposure element, and South Wales Police have ignored a direct order from the IOPC. So basically, irrespective of whether South Wales Police have ignored it or not, there's an order for PC Lauren Evans to be reinvestigated, which South Wales Police have ignored. So PC Lauren Evans shouldn't be anywhere near me. So for the second time, PC Lauren Evans at the A&E department was aggressive, she was confrontational, she was brutal the second time. So I will be demanding that PC Lauren Evans is immediately suspended pending investigation. So I was then arrested, sent to magistrates court the next day, and I was put at risk again by the magistrates court. I was treated really, really badly. None of my rights were afforded. All of my human rights were disregarded. The Equality Act wasn't adhered to. They treated me like some kind of crazed criminal, and traumatized again. I wasn't fit enough to go into court, so I was sent home by the magistrates court without even seeing a judge and told to return in 2 weeks. From then on, my plea hearing, which eventually took place, when was it? At the end of April, I had a solicitor to come with me, but they didn't turn up. Daniel Woodman solicitors in Bristol are diabolical. They don't engage them, just don't touch them with anything. They knew that I was suicidal, they knew that I was at risk from police violence and brutality, and they knew that I was, very, very vulnerable. They failed to turn up, and the legal advisor at Cardiff Magistrates Court said that they were very unprofessional and they were very difficult. The magistrates were aghast that they'd failed to turn up without any notice to the court or to me. So after that, then I went into plea hearing myself, and I pleaded not guilty, absolutely not guilty, because that is the fact, that is the truth. Not guilty. And the trial was, and I asked for the trial to be heard at Crown Court outside of Wales, because I don't trust any of the courts in Wales. They're a bunch of tyrants. The case was transferred to Cardiff, and I categorically and absolutely refused to step foot in Cardiff Crown Court. I said to the court, I sent an email to the court stating that they're tyrants, they're Gestapo, they're communists, and I will not step foot in a court that allowed my rapist to evade justice while they persecute me for a crime I have not committed. It's a complete and absolute cesspit of corruption, and I refuse to go. I give the court very reasonable reasons why I wouldn't attend, and I refused to attend, completely refused to attend the 2 mentions of Cardiff Crown Court. The court eventually conceded that I didn't have to attend, and finally, after the court ordered the CPS to carry out a review, the CPS finally discontinued my case last week on the basis that there was no case to answer, no evidence, no case to answer, and they offered no evidence in court, and the court case is now closed, dismissed, whatever you want to call it. So I feel as though finally I've been vindicated, finally I've been exonerated, and finally I can put, this to bed and try and move on. So my message from South Wales Police, to South Wales Police rather, going forwards is, every one of you have behaved like a bunch of disgusting, diabolical tyrants. You think that you can, run around like a bunch of egotistical thugs and do as you please without any accountability. You think that you can hide behind your badges. You think that you can hide behind the Police Federation. You think that you can hide behind your professional liars department. Absolutely not. It stops right here, right now. Stops today. You think that you can act with accountability. You think you're untouchable. No, you're not. Absolutely not. Stops right here, right now, today. Got it yet? You stay away from me, you stay away from my family, and you stop today. Because all you're doing is giving me more grounds for further litigation. More grounds to claim more damages, because you were getting a massive, massive claim. A huge claim. Ultimately, you've caused this situation. I didn't ask for any of this. I am not the villain. I am not the problem, and it's about time you recognise that. I have pleaded with you, besieged you for support, and all you've done is chuck it back in my face again and again and again. So, if you believe that you can crush me, a survivor who's walked through hell already, then you were very, very wrong. Very, very wrong. I've suffered atrocities that none of you would ever survive. So you think you can beat me? Think again. It stops right here, right now, okay? Got it yet? Because you better very, very soon. You will be getting papers from me. You will be getting a litigation claim from me very, very soon. Watch your inboxes and watch yourselves, because every one of you will face accountability. Every single one of you will face sanctions. You will face penalties. Watch this space, because if you don't believe me, then you were very wrong. I've defeated you many times already, and I will defeat you again.